So, you thinking about moving to Mexico and you worried about speaking Spanish? Well, I'm here to help you, right? With this video, I'm gonna make sure that I convey all the hacks and all the breakdowns on how you can learn Spanish as an American expat traveler who wants to move to Mexico, any other Spanish speaking country, so you can learn Spanish. All right, so the first thing I have to convey is that speaking Spanish is a system, right? I always say language is a technology, right? It's like one of the first technologies that humans ever created, right? It's just kind of like the first internet, right? Where we were able to communicate and connect and talk to other people and do these things. So when you understand that Spanish has a system to it, it's easier to break down and to assess it, right? I have like a little tech background too, so I like to incorporate that a lot into it. But the first thing I want to tell you about is foundation building, right? And what do I mean by foundation building? It goes into what I was talking about with the system of Spanish, right? You have to understand the grammar. You have to understand the letters. Those are like this. That's the basic building blocks of Spanish. When you understand the letters, like saying out the ABCDeros or the ABC, the ABC, like that. When you have that, you're able to build sentences better. Like we really sometimes we don't really think about it, but it's the same in English, right? When you see certain letters, you know how to pronounce them, you know how you look at them, when you see them multiple times, you understand what the point and how it is utilized to build words and sentences. So foundation building is a lot to do with that, like understanding grammar, understanding how these are used, how to place pronouns in different places in a sentence or around a word, like things like that. Grammar, somehow some words are used kind of similar like we do in English. A lot of these things, when you start to pinpoint on how these building blocks are utilized, is going to help you tremendously. You're going to be speaking Spanish muy rápido. You're going to be speaking real fast. So that's the one thing about foundation building. The second is sentence building. So what I mean by sentence building is when most people learn Spanish, they go through Duolingo, they learn some phrases, but they're never really learning how to like build a sentence. Like, okay, apple is manzana, but what does that do? That doesn't do anything. You want to know, I want to buy an apple to eat, right? Quiero comprar una manzana para comer. Like that's what you want to do. You want to be able to build that sentence to fit your everyday life, right? That's memorizing a bunch of words, flashcards, Duolingo, all these methods that we learned in school. That none of that's gonna help you. Isn't gonna help you. I think this is probably the most critical. When I learned how to build a sentence, like telling somebody I'm going to the store, or I need to go to the hospital, or I need to go to the dentist, or I need to go to the doctor, or I need a new car, I need a new tire, right? Those are the things that are really going to help you because even if you don't have like an extensive vocabulary, other people, when you receive feedback, they're going to help you with the sentence and how to build it and how to, put it all together. And they're going to help you out, right? You're going to receive real time feedback. Real time feedback. That's very, very critical. So yeah, that's what it is for sentence building. Sentence building is critical. When you learn more about critical, when you learn more about sentence building, is going to when you learn about sentence building, it's going to improve your Spanish tremendously. All right, now the third step in this whole equation is immersion. Now, immersion is a tricky topic in a lot of different circles, but to me, if you're receiving input and output, right? Input being reading, listening, output being writing and speaking. If you are in an environment where you're doing consistent input and consistent output, that's immersion for me. You could be in Mexico, you could be in Colombia, Costa Rica, you could be in Spain, you could be wherever you want to, right? But as long as you could be in America. You could be in America. Tons of Spanish speakers in America. If you are receiving those inputs consistently, and it had to be like till all day, it could be like, hour here, 30 minutes here. As long as you're receiving those inputs, you are going to tremendously supercharge your learning, and you're gonna be way better off than just opening up a book and writing down some phrases and memorizing them and getting a bunch of Duolingo streak days. And you're gonna notice I don't really like Duolingo. I'm totally anti Duolingo on this channel. I despise Duolingo. I think it's done a lot of disservice to the people who utilize the platform. I'm not a Duolingo fan whatsoever. So with the immersion, and you can achieve immersion other ways, right? Like you can read a book you've already read before in Spanish. You can watch Spanish TV shows on Netflix, Hulu, whatever streaming service you have. The output, writing, you can be in like a group chat or like a Spanish Facebook group, and you can uh, talk to people, writing, reading, listening. I think group chats are a perfect way to get a lot of immersion in, right? Because you're seeing what people are saying, you're seeing how they're writing it, you're reading it, your mind's constantly working in that environment, and also speaking too. Go out and speak to people. Go out and speak to somebody in Spanish. Real, go out and speak to somebody. I know wherever you are right now, if you on the this side of the hemisphere, if you're in America, Mexico, I'm pretty sure there's probably some Spanish. I promise you, there's some Spanish speakers, especially if you're in Mexico too. If there are some Spanish speakers around you, so just go out there and talk to them, right? But if you have these three keys set up, remember foundation building, sentence building, and immersion, you are going to be able to speak Spanish way sooner than you were whatever you were doing prior when you couldn't speak Spanish. That's what unlocked the key to me, right? When I first arrived in Mexico, I couldn't speak any Spanish. All I knew was uno, dos, tres. All I could say was hola. I couldn't communicate to like people. I was in a taxi one time. I couldn't tell them I needed to go this direction, that direction. I didn't know anything. I was just shocked and just frustrated and everything. And I almost quit speaking Spanish because there are a lot of people who live in Mexico who've been living in Mexico for 5, 10, 20 years who don't speak any Spanish whatsoever. Right? I don't want you to be like that. I don't want you to be the gringo that can't speak Spanish and is just, constantly pulling out his phone for Google Translator and all the other stuff. You don't want to be in that. You don't want to be in that scenario. That's not a good place to. It's not a, I mean, you're limited. You're isolated. You're not experiencing the culture. You're not experiencing the people at the maximum highest level that you can. You're not. You're missing out on relationships, business opportunities, all types of experiences and cultural phenomenons, right? And you don't want to. You want to expand your horizons, right? That's why we want to speak Spanish. We want to meet new people. We want to meet the love of our lives. We want to possibly do business and boost our career opportunities. So if you like this video, if you go to the link in the description box below, I have a free webinar breaking down this even further, right? On how to unlock the Spanish code and break it all down and how you can speak Spanish fluently as a traveler and expat. Yeah, so it's your boy Lou, the Spanish coach, signing out. We'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.